Hello, and welcome back to the Create series, Season 1, Episode 23. In the previous episode, we got our train automatically picking up resources for the factory from remote locations. In this episode, we're going to get the local resources into our factory. We're going to go super high-tech here and use the good old-fashioned water stream. Yep, it's simple, it's efficient, it's going to be way under the base where nobody's going to see it. I'm going to use it. I always stop for copper. Copper is one of those resources you cannot create in the game, so if you see it, stop and get it. I'm going to line the waterway with stone bricks. That way, if I'm digging in the base later and I hit stone bricks, I know, hey, I need to stop before I destroy something useful. After years of seemingly spinning in circles and getting nowhere, the harvester turned to the dark side. Anyway, seriously, I have no idea what's going on there. But we need to figure out how to get netherwort and sugarcane from here down into our supply trench. Alright, so let's get rid of this. We'll put a funnel on. We'll put it on backwards here so it doesn't drop anything out yet. And I want it to drop sugarcane. That's going to be used for sandpaper making. And of course the netherwort for the redstone maker. Have those drop out. And I think I want to lock it for now. And then we can turn it around. So if I unlock it, it should drop those out. Do a quick test. Okay, yeah. Alright, so that's going to work. Okay, and then we're just going to dig this down to the trench level and run it over and get it into the main line. From the tree farm, we need wood to make the brass casings. And we need sticks to make redstone torches. Now, I think this is right over the trench that's coming from the sugarcane farm. I think I can put a filter there and just drop it straight down in. That's what I'm going to try. Go ahead and set up the filter for oak logs, sticks. Put it on reverse thing to keep stuff from falling in. Then we'll lock it and switch it around. And we'll dig down and make sure this goes where we want it to go. Oh, there we go. Perfect. The last thing we need to currently get into the factory is dried kelp. There are bits of factory underneath me, so I don't really want to make a snaky path to get it into the supply system over there. There's a direct line between here and the drop point into the factory, so I think I'm going to cheat and just make it its own little water trench. I'm going to make this walkable, I think. Yeah, that'll work. That's the factory drop point. Let's go ahead and put in the water trench for this one. There we go. And the dried kelp trench is all set. Let's do the same thing for the netherwort and sugarcane one. Okay, that one's complete. So all that's left is the main trench. Okay, down here we're going to make this last one be a water bubble column up to the top. I'll go up to the top and put that in. And of course, a one block water source won't work here. I'm going to back this one up one. You need to have at least 2 blocks to make sure that the water flows. Go put in the water from the top, and we'll turn this into a water bubble elevator. All we have to do here is plop a sign. Keep the water from flowing back there. Destroy that, and we should have a bubble vader. Alright, so let's work on making this a little more exciting. Have something that's a little more interesting than just plopping it into the vault. Alright, here we go. All right, I think that's the delivery system. Let's try it out. All right, we're going to drop a couple of stacks and see if we can beat them over there. Oh, one too short. Oh, that's okay. We can fix that. All right, a little longer runway this time. Ugh. Did it really just throw it over the end? Come on. No, I got it. Oh, it threw it over. All right, let's make this one taller. Gonna work this time. I quit. All right, I think I'm just gonna add a chute there. Maybe I'll put one there for symmetry. Let's see if that's better. There we go. There we go. Oh, are you kidding? What? So instead of trying to get the perfect landing, I think maybe we'll just build the backstop. Let's see what that is. You gotta be kidding me. This is kicking my tail. I'm uninstalling Minecraft. What? Why? Yay. Wow, that was hard. It's the simple things that are the hardest in Minecraft. I'll try to make that look good. Problem solved. All right, let's go turn on the tree farm drops. Delivery system complete. In the last episode, I excitedly added a new storage for the blaze rods. Here. And I just realized I already had storage for the blaze rods. Added them when we made the redstone dust machine. So, yeah, my bad. So we'll just convert this to sticks. And then we'll add one for wood. And add the next one for dried kelp. There we go. All set. The finishing touch for the drop-off station is to put in threshold switches so that the drop-off station will not send us drops when these vaults are full. So we'll just flip these around. Set their block size to 64, and the system should be in operation. There we go. So everything should fall out of the vault. It'll come down and be stored in these buffers. When these fill up, it'll turn the vault off, and everything will be buffered back in the drop-off station. Now, it may fill up and overflow at some point. I might have to like manually take some things out, but I'm not going to worry about that for now. With the supply system in place, we can now add our final two machines on this side of the factory. First up is going to be a machine to make the rose crystals. Those things are a pain in the tail to make, so it's going to be nice to have a machine to make those. We start with a mixer. Going to mix up quartz and redstone dust. That'll make the raw crystals. Okay, and then we'll have those come out on this side. They need to have sandpaper applied to turn them into rose crystals. In order to get sandpaper in, we'll put a chute there. Then we can drop another basin and then a mixer. Sand will go in here. And to make paper, we'll need sugarcane to go there, and then a press. Press it into paper. Sugarcane goes there, paper will go in there, gets mixed with sand, that turns into sandpaper. Gets stuck down into this deployer. This to redstone dust. Quartz and redstone dust mixed to make rose crystals. They pop out here. They get sandpapered into polished rose crystals. And then we'll put in our standard buffer down into a weighted ejector that I'll hook up in a minute. You only want to take rose crystals in. Rose crystals will come out in blocks, and then I'll hook that up in a little bit, and that'll go back into our supply system. Okay, let me just hook up the rotational power. Alright, that's rotational power hooked up. Okay, let's set up our ejectors to get stuff off the belt and into the machine. Sugarcane comes from the drop-off system that we just installed. Sand and quartz come from our factory above. I've already made their drop shafts. And then, of course, redstone dust we're making in this factory. And we'll set up our delivery ejector, throw it onto this belt. I think we're ready for a test. I need to cycle in the ingredients manually for now. We'll dump some quartz, sand in the system, dump in some redstone dust, and sugarcane. Hey, it's doing things. Ooh! Ah! Every time. Okay. Haha! Polished rose quartz. Excellent. Alright, so let's go make a place for the polished quartz to live. Bet you didn't see that abbreviation coming. I would say that's a successful test. And we just need to hook up the logic, apply ingredients, and we're good. I had a bit of a problem in testing this machine. The sugarcane launcher wouldn't send sugarcane to this depot because that filter is set for paper. But if I take the filter off, then the sugarcane gets pulled into the mixer. It works once, but then from then on, the sugarcane will just stay right here and it won't toss it because of that filter. So I just added this ice block in front of it. As you can see, that is now the target for the sugarcane launcher. So the sugarcane gets tossed over here. Momentum lets it fall onto the depot. And then the press will beat it down into paper. And when it matches that filter, it gets sucked into the mixer. Combined with the sand to make sandpaper. Sucked down into the deployer. Kind of hacky, but it works. I want this machine to kind of be balanced in that it'll use up all of its ingredients when it's making a batch, so that we don't have leftover things and this matches it. Causes the belt to back up. Well, I did the math, so it takes 8 redstone dust and 1 piece of quartz to make a rose crystal. Then 1 sandpaper can polish 8 crystals into the polished rose crystals. But I can't make just 1 sandpaper. I need 3 sugarcane to make 3 pieces of paper. If I combine that with 3 pieces of sand, I get 3 sandpapers. In order to make enough rose crystals, I would need 3 stacks of redstone dust, 24 quartz, 3 sand, 3 sugarcane. And then everything should be used up, and it should make 24 polished rose quartz. So when we build our logic, that's the way we'll build it. I've already set the outputs of the resource droppers to drop the right amounts. 3 there, 3 sand from up above, 24 quartz from up above, and of course stacks of redstone. We'll just pulse it 3 times, about 11 seconds apart. Make sure they get sucked up here. When we design our logic, that's the way we'll design it. This is the cool part of the project where we don't have to create logic from scratch. We can start reusing logic that we made earlier. This circuit's almost exactly like the Stonemaker circuit because the needs were similar. It only has one additional output that makes it different. I don't really need to go over this circuit since it's pretty much the same as the Stonemaker circuit. And of course you watched that video, right? You watched that video, right? Okay. I'll go over it quickly. So this is just a clock circuit. It fires once every 45 seconds, which is about how long it takes to make a round of polished rose quartz. It runs all the time, but this is an on-off switch for the machine. When it's switched off, this signal is blocked, so no pulses will go through. When it's turned on, the pulse will go through, it hits this block, and this is going to pulse the releases for quartz, sugarcane, and sand once every 45 seconds. Okay. For the redstone, remember we needed 3 stacks, and we needed them to be released about every 11 seconds. So this circuit will pulse the redstone release 3 times. And it does that with just a simple counter down here, this resetting counter. It's got a couple of items in it. It pulses once when it's turned on, and then when the 2 drain, it pulses for each time they drain for a total of 3 pulses. And it'll reset this latch when it's done. And that way, every 45 seconds, we'll get 1 pulse of those and 3 pulses of redstone spaced 11 seconds apart. Easy. So all we need to do to be able to test this is switch out these manual locking mechanisms for redstone and sugarcane to be automated ones. Just so everything doesn't flow out, I'm going to reverse this real quick. Put down a receiving link for the redstone vault. I should be able to flip that over. That one's good to go. For the sugarcane, it's the same thing. And it should be good to go. Okay, let's give it a test. What could go wrong? Okay, things are falling. Alright, those bits are in. I should be making sandpaper. Or redstone. Alright, there comes the next batch. Hopefully it's ready. The last of that redstone. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off before it makes 3 batches. Okay, that should have made 24. Okay. So we should get 48 total, I think. Okay, I think it's finished. We have 48 in the barrel. No remnants in there. No remnants in there. I think it worked. Final piece is setting the threshold switch to automatically shut off the machine. I don't think I'm going to need a lot of these, so I'm going to set it pretty low. Maybe 15%. Put it on at 5. That sounds good. Alright. Another factory floor machine complete. We're almost out of time in this episode, but I wanted to fit in one more machine, the brass casing maker. It's a super simple machine. It takes logs in on a belt, runs them through a saw, smacks them with a piece of brass, and voila, brass cases. The control logic for it is super simple. It just spits out logs and brass periodically, and they get flung into the machine. The machine does its thing, flings it back on the belt just like everything else. I'm going to speed run the build of the machine and the logic. In fact, by the time I'm finished talking, the machine will be done. And it's done. Let's give it a shot. Looking good. And that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I'm very excited. We're going to finish the factory in the next episode. See you there.